Wow, yeah, that was a very deep experience. I mean, of course, you see the pictures growing up over and over every year during Black History Month. You witness some atrocities that you may have heard of, or you may have seen on video, or what have you. But I think going through that museum, it both of them kind of touched different emotions that never had been touched before. For me, I got a chance to see actual names of some individuals that were murdered, coming from my hometown, Fulton County. So just seeing that alone, touched. Of course, I didn't know the particular specific people, but just knowing that, just seeing that alone, and seeing the many names from many different places, and walking through that museum, it really touched some emotions that I never had experienced before.
And what about you, Brian?
Well, to me, I had an eye-opening experience. The whole process of actually going to the Memorial Garden and the Legacy Museum was like a civil rights boot camp for me. It actually gave me a lot of insight on myself, as well as the legacy that was actually hidden and is hidden from the public. Alabama has so much history. I think that what I gained from that experience is that I think that every African American in the United States should come to Alabama. I think that should be a part of our pilgrimage in the United States as African American. It's because it's so deeply ingrained in our world history. So that's pretty much what I got from it.
To you guys.
This moment the energy was amazing. Everybody was pretty much in good spirits. Of course, we had candidates for presidency and past candidates and representatives and congressmen that we got to see here. I think that everybody was excited. I couldn't imagine how the actual event took place, but today was a complete celebration, and I think that the ancestors were smiling today.
What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, same thing. It was a great experience. I think coming from yesterday, moving forward to today, felt great. It felt great to move out of that, because honestly, yesterday made me want to fight. It really made me want to fight. It brought up a lot of anger again. It brought up a lot of emotions. But I thought, crossing that bridge, I thought about the ones that crossed the bridge before us and the reason they crossed the bridge and how they crossed the bridge, in the spirit of nonviolence, in the spirit of making sure that we today would be able to exercise our human rights, one, to vote. So just seeing the people there, it made me think about a different fight, a better fight, fighting forward instead of fighting behind or fighting the past, or being angry about, the past, fighting forward and doing it intelligently with our minds, and coming together collectively and being able to get along with people, because there were people from all different races. It was mostly us, but it was people from different races there, and I'm sure they came in the same spirit as we came as well.
Yeah.
Which of the events that we attended over the past couple of days has been the most impactful for you, and why?
The most impactful event was the bridge. The bridge celebration to me was the most impactful one. Of course, the message is to vote, but for me personally, I had a renewed spirit of being an African American, and I felt like I was also on a pilgrimage here in Selma, Alabama. So it was just awesome for me.
Yeah, I think the bridge was great, but I think the museum and the, Legacy, Legacy Museum and what was the other one?
No.
The gardens. The garden.
The Memorial
The
Garden.
Memorial Garden. Both of those put together, I think for me was the most impactful because again, it touched some emotions that I hadn't experienced ever before during this time, this great time in Black History where the month is over, but we're still in the spirit of Black history. Right. And every time during this year, I think me personally, I learned something different. I get a higher sense of appreciation for the ancestors before us. But seeing those memories, the memorabilia that was all throughout both the museum and the memorial, it impacted me like none other. So I think those events were the ones that was the most impactful on me on this journey.
One more question. As young Black men, why is it so important to be involved in the movement?
Why it is so important? That is a really, really good question. I think that as young Black men, I think that it's our time to make an impact on our community. Dr. King, when he started the movement, he was at the tender age of 28. So I think that it is up to the youth. The youth give the energy to the movement. The youth give the energy to the community. And it's very important.
Leadership.
Right.
Leadership. We a lot of times we are told, even by our own selves, because no one outside our community tells us this, but for the most part, we're told so many times that we don't have a leader, or we don't have leaders, or our leadership roles and duties stopped at MLK and stopped at Malcolm X and stopped at Medgar Evers and stopped at all these great people, all the way up until the point where sometimes we feel that we don't have leadership. So I think events like this is very important for us to identify with ourselves. First of all, leaders in our home, and second of all, leaders in our community. And once we can do that, then we can move nationwide as leaders and become leaders and impact the ones that's younger than us and continue on. Because if we don't, then the legacy of MLK, the legacy of Malcolm X, the legacy of all these great people that fought for us to be here speaking today, it would die out. So events like this helps us become better leaders, to be involved in the events that we should be involved in.
And then just to piggyback on what he was saying, I think that young Black males stand at the doorway for the next generation. So if we don't take up the mantle and the torch, then it could stop at us. So it's very important to keep our legacy going.